Leipzig, Germany is perhaps best known to us for St. Thomas Church, the Church of Johann Sebastian Bach. But there is another older church, Leipzig Church, that we consider this morning, St. Nicholas Church. In the early 1980s, with Russia in utter control of East Germany, Monday demonstrations, or religious protests as they came to be called, emerged from a small Monday night prayer meeting at which the church did its work. The work of prayer, of embodying peace, of embracing human dignity, and of seeking justice. The Monday demonstrations began after the church's Monday night Friedensgebet, or prayers for peace. The routine was simple. Monday after Monday, the Beatitudes were read, candles were lit, and those gathered then moved peacefully out into the streets. Anticipating violent protests, but not knowing quite what to do with this, the government allowed the demonstrations to go on. In 1985, the pastor put an "Open to All" sign on the front church gate. And this was a politically loaded message to a government that was hostile and threatened by all things religious. St. Nicholas Church became ground zero for peaceful resistance to the repressive government. Over time, Friedensgebet became prayer meetings and demonstrations all across East German cities. And by October of 1989, what had begun at St. Nicholas Church, with only a few parishioners praying, had mushroomed to over 120,000 people. By then, government threats only goaded people into greater determination. And their chant, "We are the people," morphed into "We are one people." And on November 9, 1989, years after that handful of Christians at St. Nicholas Church, their seemingly irrelevant faithfulness had ignited hope throughout East Germany. And that night, the Berlin Wall fell. The communist dictatorship ultimately giving way to democracy. Years later, shortly before his death, Horst Zitterman, a member of the Communist Central Committee, said of those Monday demonstrations, "We had everything planned. We were prepared for everything, except for candles and prayers." The "Open to All" sign still hangs on the church gate to this day. "You are the salt of the earth," Jesus said. "You are the light to the world." Earlier this decade, the group Freedom from Religion Foundation placed billboards and plastered buses across the country with catchphrases such as "Imagine no religion," or "In reason we trust," or my favorite, "Sleep in on Sundays." Dan Barker, co-president of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, explained their campaign like this. He said, "Obviously there are many reasons to reject religion, most of them intellectual. But face it, one of the immediate benefits of quitting church is, besides getting a 10% raise because you can stop tithing, we wish, one of the main reasons is that you get to sleep in on Sundays. What the world really needs is a good night's sleep." "You are the salt of the earth," Jesus says. "You are the light of the world." Or sleep in on Sundays. The latter can be, I admit, tempting from time to time, but again, this morning you chose to get out of bed and find your way here, and I'm so glad you are here. Now, a good night's sleep is always a good idea, but it is likely that you are here because you know deep within that life's meaning is not generally addressed in a Sunday newspaper or found in a double latte however tasty they may be. And so you've done something countercultural this morning, believing that there is this extraordinary gift of a handful of years on the planet, that creature comforts and a couple more hours of sleep are not all there is. In Anne Lamott's words, she says, most of the people I know who have what I want, which is to say purpose, heart, balance, gratitude, joy, are people with a deep sense of spirituality. They are people in community who pray or practice their faith, people banding together to work on themselves as well as for human rights. They follow a brighter light than the glimmer of their own candle. I like that. You and I are here because we are seeking to follow a brighter light than the glimmer of our own candle. And the brighter light we follow is Jesus himself. I confess, as Anne Lamott has put it, that the older I get, the more Jesus-y I become. I've gone through many phases over my years as a Christian. There have been times when I've been rapturous but absolutely ignorant about Jesus. Other times I've found him a bit embarrassing, a bit too exclusive and rigid for modern sensibilities. But I hung in there with Jesus, realizing that my embarrassment stemmed from misunderstanding him, from reading into the text but was not actually there, but had been imposed. And these days, the more I consider Jesus plain and simple, I am more taken with him than ever, convinced his ways are indeed good news, and that in them is our hope. One day Jesus sat down with his disciples to tell them what it would mean to follow him. He began with a series of blessings, the same ones the Leipzig Christians read together, as an act of spiritual growth, and then as an assertion of human worth, and finally as a protest against their government. Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, the meek, the hungry, the thirsty, the merciful, the persecuted, the peacemakers. It is a wildly different take on what makes a life good. And then Jesus says to them, you are the salt of the earth, the light of the world. Powerful, world-altering images. Salt seasons, it enhances, it brings out flavor. Light dispels the darkness. In other words, we are here for a purpose. And Jesus dares to tell us what that is. It is not the New York Times. It is not the latte. As wonderful as those are. But instead, Jesus says, the world is in need of your influence, of your wise, of your compassionate and faithful presence. But Jesus does not stop with words only. He lived out what being salt and light looks like. This is the way John Buchanan puts it. Jesus lived it for us to see. He taught us to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. He walked the dusty roads and the city streets of this world, his nation, his people, with his dear friends, men and women together. He loved them and ate and drank with them. He laughed and talked late into the night. He asked them to try loving one another as he loved them. He told them stories about a wounded man lying beside the road and the religious leaders walking fastidiously by on the other side, and a racial minority, a despised other stopping to help, showing them what neighbor love looks like. Jesus told them stories about a rebellious son running away from home, but never escaping the gracious reach of a father's love. He welcomed the unwanted, the unclean, the marginalized to his table. And he told stories about a heavenly banquet with a place for everyone. He healed the sick, touched the lepers and the unclean, gathered the children in his strong arms. He fed the hungry and comforted the grieving. He raised the dead and laughed in the face of death. And as he died, victim of the worst thing that can be done to a person, he continued to love, forgiving his tormentors until all of his love, his life, was poured out. That is what it looks like. Salt of the earth, light of the world. Yes, the world does need a good night's sleep. Even more, the world needs salt and light. People and communities of faith living out the ways of Jesus. If we think about it, all of the world's major movements for justice and well-being, for health and for peace, from the fall of the Berlin Wall to the fall of apartheid, from the abolition of slavery centuries ago to our own path of people assisting the homeless, child share, and the West Side Food Bank, the church embracing its purpose, its essence, the salt of the earth, the whole earth, and light of the world, the entire world. In all of these movements, the church has been at the beginning. As well, there's a whole lot of saltiness and light that happens among us. Being salt and light to one another is in this church's DNA, and it happens all of the time, and not all of it on Sunday mornings. Lives are healed, transformed, comforted, challenged, loved, supported, renewed, deepened, encouraged, reimagined. All because you have determined to follow a light brighter than the glimmer of your own candle. All because you keep getting out of bed on Sunday mornings to be, in mysterious and beautiful ways, Jesus. To be salt and light to one another. And so while I need more sleep, and I intend to get a good night's sleep whenever I can on a Saturday night, it will be by going to bed a little earlier. Because I don't want to sleep in anytime soon. And I hope you won't either. Let us pray. Lord, we come now to the table to be fed and strengthened, that we might be salt and light from our side porch to our workplaces, to our homes, and beyond. To every place that is in need of justice, of mercy, of grace and truth. We pray in Jesus, who has been salt and light to us. Amen.